everybody, it's Kim Kenny Mott, and today I'm going to show you a couple of great things to bring on a picnic. It's that time of year and everybody loves to gather around at the beach or the playground or wherever you want to have your picnic, and you want to make sure your foods that you bring are friendly enough where you don't have to worry about refrigeration too much. No mayonnaise based products, because you don't want anyone to get sick if you can't keep it cool enough. And you want it to be portable and easy to eat, and something that you don't have to worry about a ton of dishes at the end of the day. When you come home and you're tired after playing badminton or whatever you want to do on your picnic, and it's easy and fast and delicious. One thing is that you don't have to just make this stuff for a picnic. You can make it anytime you want, and I'm going to show you how to do it now. Alright, the first thing I want to show you is some fresh fruit skewers. I love fresh fruit, but sometimes at a picnic, you know, you have to bring bowls and spoons. If you bring it on a skewer, then you don't have to worry about it. You can just serve them. Each person gets their own skewer of fresh fruit, and it's easy. Kids love to eat it that way because it's fun and it's pretty also. So what I'm going to do, I have some chopped up fruit here. I have strawberries, pineapples, grapes, and a couple of kinds of melons. And of course, you could use whatever variety of fruit that you like. And what I'm going to do is I chopped some fresh mint. Mint always goes really well with fruit. Actually, I'll just put the whole thing. And I have some reduction of balsamic vinegar, or it's also called balsamic glaze. And I like to just put a little bit on my fruit. And you can make this yourself. I bought it because it's easy. But you can just boil some balsamic vinegar on the stove. Let it reduce until it's nice and syrupy, but just be careful because you don't want to burn it, because it'll burn very easily. So I'm just going to take this and mix it up. And this is so easy. And you know, and if you are adventurous, you can grill these, and they're really good. But I'm not going to grill them today because I'm going to add some feta cheese. I took some feta cheese and I just diced them into cubes, and I'm going to see if I can get the skewer through them without them falling apart, because that does happen with feta. But the feta goes really well with the balsamic glaze and the fruit. So I'm going to take a skewer, and I'm going to start with a piece of fruit and just skewer it. Now I don't want to go all the way down because I want to make sure I have a handle that I can hold on to. Actually, I think I'm going to start with a grape because a grape holds on better and it's a good base. So I'm going to start with the grape, and then I'm going to go to the strawberry. These are huge strawberries. I'm going to do a piece of melon, piece of pineapple. I'm going to attempt a piece of the feta. And let me see, what else do I need? How about some cantaloupe? And I'm going to end it with a grape. So that is one. I'll do one more. And these are easy to just put it in a container. If you have an oblong container, that's easy. You just put it that way. Keep it in the refrigerator. And then when you're ready to pack your cooler, you don't have to keep it refrigerated. I mean, the feta cheese is fine, you know, because it'll be a few hours. So, and if you don't want the cheese, don't leave it. Just have the fruit. So I'm going to make one more. I'm going to make this one a little bit different. I'm going to start with the melon, and then the pineapple. I'm going to do a piece of the feta cheese. Piece of the strawberry. This is so pretty. And what didn't I get? The honeydew. And I'm going to end it with a grape. There you have it. They're so pretty. And just think, if you put this on the grill, just real quick, just to put some grill marks on it, it would bring it to another dimension. And it's pretty, and everybody will be like, ooh, how nice. So I'm not going to finish anymore, but that's one thing that's really easy to hang on to. Kids love eating it this way. Just make sure you take the skewer away from them when they're done with it, because they'll start having wars. So at least that's what my brother would do when I was a kid. So there you have it, and they're very pretty. So the next thing I have is a grilled vegetable sandwich. And I have sliced up some eggplants. I sliced up some peppers, and I took the seeds out, and some zucchini. So what I'm going to do is I have a balsamic vinaigrette that I'm going to just take the eggplant, and I want to season these really well because I want this sandwich to have a lot of flavor. So I'm just going to take it and pour it onto the eggplant. An eggplant is quite porous, so it will absorb. And I'm just going to take it and I'm going to coat every single bit of it. And let it marinate while I get all the rest of the vegetables ready. I like to do the eggplant first because it is porous and it loves to absorb any kind of flavor that you give it. And what I did was I peeled off some of the skin because sometimes the skin can get a little tough. But I do like the skin because there is a lot of nutrients in the skin. So I don't like to peel it all off. Okay, so next I have the zucchini. I'm going to coat the zucchini. And I have my peppers, which I seeded and I cut so that they're easy to grill. And I'm just going to get those marinated. All right, so these are going to go on the grill on medium, and I want to put some nice grill marks in, and I want to make sure that they're nice and tender. Though I don't want to make them so mushy, I still want them to have a little bit of a bite to it. So I'm going to do that. All right, so I have my grilled vegetables here, and they look so delicious just with the grill marks. I love grilled vegetables. You can do so much with it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my grilled vegetables and put them aside. I have some really, really good crusty whole grain bread. And what I did was I cut it in half. I'm a little bit ahead of myself because I already did this part of it. But I hollowed out. I took the bread out of the middle of this part. This side is pretty thin, so I didn't want to hollow that side out. This side was much thicker, so I hollowed it out. And I'm not going to throw away the wonderful breadcrumbs, because I am going to save those. I'll put them in the freezer, and when I need some fresh breadcrumbs, I will have them. So what I did was I took some tomato paste, and I just spread a little bit on one side. You don't need a lot because tomato paste is very concentrated, and it'll give you that really good tomatoey flavor without making your sandwich mushy. So just a thin layer of tomato paste. And then on the other side I took some pesto, and I spread a layer of pesto. And pesto is really, really actually healthy because it's full of healthy oils. And of course basil has a lot of antioxidants, and so you always want to eat your fresh herbs because herbs are really healthy for you. And so I have my pesto on one side and I have my tomato paste on the other side, and I'm going to build this sandwich. And what I'm going to do is, what do I want to start with? I think I want to start with the prosciutto. You don't have to use prosciutto if you don't want to have any meat in this. But prosciutto is actually picnic friendly because it's cured and it's got a lot of salt, so it's not going to go bad if you don't refrigerate it right away or if it gets a little bit warm. So I'm going to put a layer of pesto, a layer of my prosciutto on top of the pesto side. And this will also protect the bread from getting too soggy. So that's what I'm going to do. So I have a layer on that side. This already looks good. Now I'm going to take my eggplant and I'm just going to layer my eggplant. And what I did when I grilled my eggplant, I didn't wash the platter that it was on because it still had a lot of that good dressing on it. So after I grilled the eggplant, I put it right back into the dressing on the plate, the leftover dressing, so that it still absorbed some of it because I want this sandwich to have a lot of flavor. Okay, so next I'm going to take my zucchini and I'm going to layer that in. Sandwich is going to be really good. And now my peppers. You could take the skins off of the peppers if you want, but I don't bother. It doesn't bother me to eat the pepper skins. And they have that good char on them, so. All right, so that's that. Next I have some fresh mozzarella that I sliced. Now, I didn't use the type of mozzarella that is really watery because I don't want this to get the sandwich mushy. So I used the fresh mozzarella that you buy in the grocery store that's already made. It's not fresh made, but it's not as dry as some of the processed mozzarella. It's more fresh. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but just get a good quality fresh mozzarella. And I'm going to layer that on too. I think that's enough. Now, for the fun part. I'm going to take the sandwich. I'm going to set it aside for a second. And I'm going to take some plastic wrap. And I'm going to lay it right on the plastic wrap. And wrap it really tight. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it between two plates. And I'm going to put the other plate on top, and I'm going to weight it down with something really heavy. I like to use my cast iron skillet, and I like to put it in the refrigerator. You can do this from an hour. You can leave it overnight, but you know, a few hours anyway you want to do it. So as long as it's really heavy and it kind of presses down on the sandwich. So I have one. Have one here that I made earlier. As you can see, it's really pressed flat. And of course keep it, you want to keep it wrapped up until you get to your picnic. Or actually, maybe you'd want to slice it first and then wrap it back up so that you don't have to worry about, unless you have a husband like mine that will eat this entire thing by himself. But this looks really good. Now I'm going to slice it in half. And I'm going to slice it again because I'm going to try a little piece. Now look at that. Doesn't that look really good? The pesto has permeated into the bread and it's just juicy and delicious. Wow. That's a really good sandwich. And it's good cold, it's good room temperature, it's very picnic friendly as far as that goes. So that's another thing that you can make. And I will show you one last thing. All right, so my last thing is chicken drumsticks. Everybody loves drumsticks. They're juicy, they don't dry out, they're easy to cook, and they have a little handle on them that you can just eat with one hand. It's very picnic friendly, kid friendly, and I don't know, it's just one of my favorite things to eat. As a kid, that was always my first selection, was the drumstick. And just the name drumstick is kind of cool. Anyway, so I have a couple of them right here, and I'm going to show you what I did. First of all, what I like to do is I like to season with salt first, because I made a dry rub right here, but I'm going to season them with salt first. Because when I add salt to a dry rub, I can never tell how much to add. Sometimes it's too salty, or sometimes it's not enough salt. So I like to season my drumsticks first with salt. That way I can judge how much salt to put on. So with that said, they're nice and seasoned with salt. So what I did was I took basically equal parts of, I have my tablespoon here, basically equal parts of smoked paprika, cumin, coriander, a mixture of garlic and onion powder, and some pepper, black pepper. And I didn't put the equal amount of cayenne pepper because you would probably die if you did that, but I seasoned it to taste with cayenne pepper afterwards. So that's just a basic rub. You can add brown sugar to this if you want. I choose not to, but it's all about what you want. You can make a rub out of anything you want. You can add curry powder, whatever. You can buy a dry rub already made. This is just dry rubbed chicken legs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my spoon so I don't get my fingers all red. And if you have leftover rub, you can save it for another time. As long as you don't contaminate it with the chicken, that's fine. And I'm just going to liberally coat the chicken leg with it. That way, every bite gets covered. And if you have a smoker, you can put these in the smoker and it would be fantastic. But I'm just going to use my oven today because I do like to cook it on a high temperature at 450 degrees. For legs, they can take the heat because they're dark meat. And I want the skin to get nice and crispy. So I'm just going to, whatever leftover, I'm just going to rub in. If there's anything on the plate, I'm just going to make sure I use that all up. And I'm going to save this for another time. So, okay, so I have my sheet pan here. I have foil, piece of foil on it, and I sprayed it with some cooking spray, and I'm just going to put my chicken right on the sheet pan and throw it in a 450 degree oven. It's probably only going to take about 30 minutes. It depends on the size of your chicken legs, so do check the temperature. The temperature should be, I'm going to say, about 180 degrees. You kind of can't overcook a chicken leg. You just want to make sure that they're really tender and it breaks up that connective tissue on the inside of the leg. So I already made some for you. And here they are. These look delicious. These, I've made them and I let them cool. They're no longer hot. So you can eat them cold, you can eat them room temperature. Of course you can eat them hot if you're not going to a picnic. But this is something that's great to make ahead of time. They're crispy, they're easy to hold on to. Everybody loves drumsticks. I don't think I know anybody that doesn't. And they have such a good flavor with all the spices. So you can use any kind of spice that you want. If you can buy a commercial dry rub and use that, you can just use salt and pepper. I mean, but these are really special because of the spices that I used. So now that these have cooled, it's just easy. You just take a container, just put them in the container, pack them in your cooler. You can serve them room temperature. They're excellent cold. They're very picnic friendly, and I really think that you should make these not just for a picnic, but for any time. It's fast, it's easy, and they're always delicious. So happy picnicking, everybody, and happy summer finally, and I hope you enjoy.